All right, the Tisch and the Mara family own the Giants, and the man who runs the team and runs it for the Mara side of the family is John Mara, and he is nice enough to join us now. John, it's Michael and Don. How you doing?
I'm good, guys. How are you doing?
We're doing all right. Now, the guy who just did the Sports Center update, you were on hold, he might be, I don't know if you realize, John, he might be the biggest Giant fan who ever lived, and he has 4 framed letters from your dad. He used to annoy your dad constantly with letters, and your dad would write them back, right, Dave?
Yeah, I don't think it was much of an annoyance, though, Mr. Mara. I think it was more of a reciprocal kind of back and forth.
There you go.
Yeah, I think I remember him telling me it wasn't annoying, but that's neither here.
Do you know that Dave once tore up his wedding video, just ripped it in 3 parts because the Giants lost a tough game?
That I can understand. I've done a few things like that myself. So.
And my wedding ring.
Right.
My wife inscribed to me in my wedding ring, she says, I love you more than you love the Giants.
There you go. Biggest Giant fan of all time.
Well, I appreciate that.
All right, so, John, how tough has this run been for you? How tough is it for you to sit back and watch the playoffs?
It's pretty brutal. I mean, missing it 3 years in a row after the success we had prior to that. Particularly coming off 2 straight losing seasons and, having those long losing streaks, 6 games in 2013 and 7 games last year. It's pretty brutal, I'm not going to lie. And, but it makes you more determined to try to, do what we have to do to improve the team and get back in the playoffs next year, because none of us have enjoyed life the last couple of years.
And just tell us exactly how close you came to making a decision as head coach and what eventually prevailed for you to decide to stick with Tom.
Well, I've been in this business a long time and been around it all my life. And, I learned a long time ago that you try not to make decisions during the season because your emotions swing wildly from being, happy to being completely depressed and angry. So you have to wait till the end of the season before you make a final decision. But, there were certainly times, as I've said publicly, during the season, particularly, sitting on the bus after that game in Jacksonville where, I couldn't look at anybody. I wanted to fire everybody in the organization and clean house and start all over again. It was just a debacle for us down there, and that came on the heels of losing a brutal game the week before against Dallas that we thought we had won, and then we couldn't stop them at the end. But I will say this, that our players responded pretty well. They did not quit. They kept playing hard. We won a few games after that, and I'm certainly aware of who we beat. But the fact of the matter is that they played hard, and they never stopped playing hard for him, and that was a big factor for me. I realize that we have some holes that we have to fill personnel-wise, and we're going to have to do that to give Tom a better chance to succeed going forward. But I never stopped believing in him as a head coach, and he didn't forget how to coach all of a sudden, and I think he still does have the players' attention, and he has not lost one bit of energy or drive or motivation to win.
Giants president and CEO John Mara is with us here on the Michael Kay Show on the Yes Network and ESPN New York. You're a big sports fan, John. I'm sure you know Dave Checkett's line about Mark Messier. How much and how long do I have to pay for the Stanley Cup? So my question is this to you. If Tom had not won 2 Super Bowls for you, would you have fired him after the season?
Well, I hate to speculate on that, but yeah, listen, you go 3 straight years without making the playoffs and 2 straight losing seasons. Not too many coaches survive that, but certainly the fact that he had success in the past, and in both years that we won those Super Bowls, he brought us back from what started out to be maybe not such a good season. There were times in 2007 where we had a losing streak going, and everybody wanted the coach fired and us to trade the quarterback, and he pulled us out of that. And then we obviously had a great run in 11 also. So he has a knack for doing that, and that certainly is part of the equation, Michael. But the most important factor for Steve Tisch and myself was the fact that we still believe in him, and we still believe we can win a Super Bowl with him.
John, so many things are said, and they lay out there as fact because so many people say them. So let me just ask you this. A lot of it has been Giant fans think, well, John is never, ever going to want to get rid of Tom Coughlin because that's really essentially the last hire that his dad made. Is that an emotional tug for you?
Well, first of all, that's not true. I mean, I was the one that hired him, truth be told. Ernie Accorsi and myself went out and interviewed the 4 candidates back then, and we came back and ranked Tom number 1, and our recommendation to my father and Bob Tisch was that Tom was the guy. But if we had come back with Charlie Weiss or Romeo Crennel or Lovie Smith, they would have gone along with that too. But Tom was our guy, and we went forward with that. But that doesn't mean anything right now. The most important factor is, do we think we can win with him? And the answer to that is yes, we still believe that, and that's why he's still here.
Does he still have the same power within the organization he had when he first got here?
Yes, he does. He still controls his coaching staff. He still makes those decisions. That has not changed from day one. And he and Jerry work very well together, very closely on all personnel issues, even though Jerry technically has the final say. I mean, I can't think of very many occasions over the past 10 or 11 years where there's been a major disagreement on a player. They have that type of mutual respect and relationship, and they're able to work through those things.
Now, he said it kind of tongue-in-cheek at the press conference, John, but he said, I want to coach 12 more years, which would take him to 80. Does age have any kind of a play in this at all in terms of extending him or how long you want him to coach?
Not really, because, listen, he still has the same energy and drive that he's always had, and nobody wants to win more than he does. And so I think age is overrated, to tell you the truth. To me, it's more about energy level and commitment and motivation to win. And I think he certainly has all of those.